Okay, what's in my bag every time?
Every time.
Is 2 Alpha 900s.
Okay.
And I really could only use one, but I bring a second one just as a backup, just in case something happens.
Smart.
So far, this camera has been through rain, sandstorms, abused the heck out of the camera. Don't let Sony know about that, but anyway. And
Have
it's
you ever
performed.
needed your backup camera?
Never. Never. It's been
Sony's that
flawless.
reliable.
They're incredible, incredible cameras.
Okay.
So in the bag is 2 Alpha 900s.
Okay.
I have a 16 to 35 Zeiss f2.8 lens, which is a phenomenal lens. I have the 24 to 70 2.8 lens, which I use more than any other lens, which is, in my opinion, the best lens ever made by any human being. Or
Which lens was that again?
24 to 70 f2.8 Zeiss lens. Extraordinary lens. Better than any lens on any planet. No, we're not just talking about Earth. Then it's got a 70, I've got a 70 to 400 millimeter lens. That is another one of my favorite lenses. That's the lens is a small lens, it's a light lens, incredibly sharp. And the beauty of this camera is it's got image stabilization, not on the lens itself, but in the sensor itself. So in other words, with other manufacturers with wide angle lenses, you get no stabilization.
Right.
Because it's in the lens, and they don't make them for wide angle, which makes no sense to me, because when I shoot with the wide angle, if I'm going into an area and I want to shoot in a fourth of a second, I can do that with this camera. You can't do that with any other camera.
But this image stabilization in the body of the camera will apply to any lens.
Anything that's, any lens that's put on the camera.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
The other thing that's beautiful about this is when you have the SteadyShot on, it's got 4 bars. And if you have 4 bars, it's like you drink too much coffee or like this. And then you hold it until it gets down to 2 or 1 bar, and then you shoot it.
Okay.
And if it's down to 1 bar, it shows that you're holding the camera very steady.
This is the 850. Again, you shoot with the 900. What is the difference between an 850 and a 900?
The difference between the 850 and the 900 is this does 3 frames per second.
Okay.
And both of them have a dual BIONZ processor, so that processes it very, very quickly. Same processors. And the other does, which allows it for a huge file to process it very quickly, you need 2. And the other, the 900, does 5 frames per second and a slightly brighter screen on the 900 and this one. The 900 has the brightest screen of any single lens reflex camera.
You know, I'm a point and shoot user. I've graduated to DSLRs. Could I handle something like this?
Easily.
Why?
Cameras are, it's a very simple camera. I mean, if you wanted to just put this on auto
it has
and go like
automatic.
this. Oh, it's got everything. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So it's a very, very simple camera to use.
Okay.
And the advantage is you can use this as a point and shoot camera. And let's say you're somewhere and you've got a picture and you go, my gosh, that is a gorgeous, gorgeous shot. The camera is beautifully designed. When you put your hand there, it's very comfortable. Yes, please. As soon as you pick it up, your finger is automatically on the shutter.
I see that.
Which is great. And it's very well balanced. You feel how balanced it is. It also is extremely light. Now this has got an 85 1.4 or 1.8 lens. I think it's a 1.4. The 85 planar 1.4, which is a brilliant lens, but it's not one of the lighter lenses in the world because it's a very fast lens. So if this had another lens on it, perhaps it would be a little bit lighter as well.
Okay.
But it's not. It's not a real heavy camera.
No. I mean, it's solid.
It's very solid.
And it does feel very evenly balanced.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's
I don't feel like
balanced.
it's
exactly.
tilting forward one way or the other. No. And I see there's not a lot of buttons here.
No. Very, 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 very simple.
The
This is the
menu
SteadyShot, and the only reason they have an off for the SteadyShot is if you use it on a tripod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically you keep this on all the time. Another thing which I was very, very happy, now this is being a little bit particular to professionals, but a lot of times I have my camera on a tripod and I want the mirror locked up. I don't want the mirror bouncing around while I'm taking a long exposure. What Sony did is if you do a, sometimes if you want to take a picture of yourself, you put it on 2-second delay or 6-second delay and then run around.
I like to do that a lot.
Well, anyway, what this does is before the picture is taken, it locks the mirror up. So you have a sharper image. No other camera manufacturer that I know of does that as well.
What is a dynamic range optimizer?
Dynamic range optimizer is, for example, if you're shooting something with a lot of highlights and a lot of shadows.
Would that be after having hair?
It would be exactly. If your hair was done and you had a bright sky behind you, you've got your black hair and a bright sky, that's actually a very good example.
Oh, okay.
With the optimizer, it will compensate for the exposure and come up so you have detail on your hair and the highlights aren't blown out.
Very nice. Hi, I'm Deanna from PhotoAmerica.tv, and this is Cliff Hausner. He's a professional photographer in New York City for the last 25 years. Right now we're going to talk about, I think, Sony Alpha cameras. Okay. And what do you have in your hand?
The camera I have is the Sony Alpha 850.
Great camera.
Very, very nice camera. But one of the things that I found about the Sony cameras is that they're, especially in the higher end, they all have very, very similar features. The major difference from camera to camera is the chip size. But basically, most of the same features from the 850, say, to the 900 is pretty much the same.
And the one thing pretty much common, I think, to all the Sonys is you just can't take a bad picture. Someone handed me the 900, which I guess is like a tiny bit higher than this one, and I had it for about an hour. The images that I took were phenomenal. I have never in my life seen a picture that I've taken that was just so brilliant and so easy to use. And and that's me, and I'm an amateur.
Right. Coming from my point of view, I did find that the image quality was amazing. The things that I found about it that I liked are that it has a bunch of features. You can use it in program mode, you can use it in aperture priority mode, you can use it in a shutter priority mode, or manual. I prefer most of the time to use my camera in a manual mode. I found that the metering system in it is amazing. I also like the very, very large screen that they have in the back, so that when you're viewing the screen, even in fairly bright sunlight, I'm able to see the image very, very clearly on the back. There are a few things that using it in not the automatic mode, using it in the manual mode, where I'm going through some of the menus in the back, that at first was very complicated for me. It was very, very hard to figure out where they are. And it may be because I might be more used to another type of camera or another menu system in the back. But once I got it, and it took me a little bit of time, I mean, it took me a couple of tries to get at it, but once I figured out where things are and how things are set up on the camera, it became very intuitive. So the camera feels good in your hand. I like the lens quality. They do have some real beautiful prime lenses that are their higher end lenses. That if you get into this kind of camera system and you start to use their higher end lenses, they're just absolutely amazing. I've used those lenses with the 900, and I mean, it's just been over the top, fantastic camera. So for me, an advanced amateur for this camera, an advanced amateur or professional, would love this camera, would find it very easy to use, and the image quality would be equal to that of many, many other high-end cameras in its class.
And their price point on these high-end professional cameras is just...
I think this camera is somewhere in the range of like $2,000, $1999, something like that. And it's for the full-size chip that you're getting here. It's a 24 megapixel. You really have a pretty 24.6. See, the professional knows. I like to see a live view in the back of the camera, very much, and then also as a video function. There's a couple of features that you wouldn't normally see on a camera priced at this level. First of all, the 24.6 megapixels is pretty amazing for the price of the camera. But in addition to that, the ease of use of a white balance button, a steady shot, which is I believe it's in the camera steady shot. So it's not the lens that's keeping the camera steady. So if you're moving the camera a little bit and you're shooting at a little bit of lower shutter speed, you're still able to capture an image, and the image will be sharp because of the inside stabilization system that they have.
Okay. No, it's a great product. So you're happy with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go Sony.